Hi. So, firstly, congratulations. Class 6th NCERT is over, and I am very hopeful that you have been able to understand the gist, understand the chapter notes written on your hands, chapter notes, done the MCQs, and also you have taken the full test of prelims and uh, paper 1 and paper 2. Going forward, now we are doing from here class 7th NCERT. I would like to bring to your notice couple of things when it comes to NCRT. So first of all, NCRT has when we say standard textbook, one NCRT which is going on right now, 2024, 2025, they have republished things, reoriented syllabus again, where you will see that few new examples, few new way has happened. This is primarily we have to study because this is the current text. Second, we also have to turn the pages of NCRT, which is valid from 2005 to 2024. Why? Because they would assume that you would have studied from those books and then cleared your 10th class. Okay, that is relevant. Then, to understand deeper, there is NCRT old, which is before 2005 paper, textbooks. Now, those textbooks were written by, especially the social studies of class, 11th, were written by some prominent figures like R.S. Sharma, Bipin Chandra. So that's why that makes a very important. These are the contributors of uh, geography or the contributors of history, or they are historians who have written it. And now these NCRT, which is currently happening, they are written together as a bunch of board and they approve a document, and that's how it is written. So that's the reason we have to go through them. As part of this foundation program, I will be covering all the NCRT which is available. It might not be available for you to access. I have some old copies. I will also ensure that it is given to you and we learn from it. So, clearing your doubt on NCRTs, let's start. See, the chapter or the book now is earlier, which was called as civics. Now it is called as SLP. What is SLP? SLP is social and political life. So basically, earlier what was there is you will see that civics was more about constitution and talking about various clause, what is there, what is to be there. So here, sorry, SLP, SPL. I will correct myself. The way they are going to call it is a social and political life. SPL. Now, SPL is something because after the NCF, National Curriculum found for a framework 2005, said that civics should be discontinued and its focus on government institution and functioning should be tempered in a new subject that replaces it. So SPL, as its name suggests, focuses on topic related to social, political, and economic life in contemporary India. So what is contemporary word means? Contemporary word means what is around you, the way you are seeing India today. So that is contemporary India. Now what it gives, it's a very applicative kind of a approach. So that's why you will see the entire book which is here has lot of examples, has lot of anecdotes, relatable things. The book has prominently stories of local stories making into national textbook. So I'm sure because maybe you must be from, if you are from other part of India and you see some stories of other part, you may not be aware about those incidences. But here it tries to bring in those factors. So this is about the book, and now let's start with the chapter. The unit one is equality in democracy. See, this equality in democracy, first of all, as a UPSC aspirant, we have to understand constitution and its part, which is almost everybody tells polity, take Lakshmikant and things, all the other books, DD Basu, वगैरह. But here I would say that you should always try to relate whatever is, whatever you are seeing outside, how is it embedded in constitution. I want you to also think from this aspect. It was not the constitution which was written first. It was not the constitution which was written first. Seeing the country's culture and culture aspect of country, we dreamt of a dream India, how the country should operate. Dream India. To operate the dream India, India of dreams, there were some policies or some approach that was called as constitution or constitutional rights. So this approach was put together in something called as constitution. So where we will again, when we learn about constitution, you will realize there is something called fundamental rights, there is something called fundamental duties, there is something called, that they talk about center, state, judiciary, then third tier of government, various aspects of how this country runs. Many are legally defined, which is called the basic structure. So we will talk about it as we learn. But today, at seventh class level, they are talking of a topic called as on equality. So equality is in Indian democracy, and it is given because it is in Indian constitution recognizes that every person is equal. So that includes a male, female person from all castes, religions, tribes, educational, and economic backgrounds are recognized as equal. Now, the first and foremost thing as a child's mind come, okay, if I am equal, where I have never seen that equality. Many times I am told, don't meet them, don't go there, don't introduce, don't talk to them, don't this them. Now the society you will see where we live in, there is lot of inequality. But for the democracy to run, that is a governance by people to run, our principle is equality. Everybody is equal. While earlier no law existed to protect people from discrimination and ill treatment, now there are several that work to see that people are treated with dignity and as equals. Firstly, in front of law, every person is equal before law. Second, no person can be discriminated against on the basis of their religion, race, caste, place of birth, or whether they are female or male, gender. How many things they cannot be discriminated? One, two, three, four, five. On five parameters, they cannot be discriminated. Third, every person has access to all public places, including playground, hotel, shops, markets. All persons can use publicly available wells, roads, and bathing ghats. Fourth, untouchability has been abolished. Now, why I am underlining this over here is because you have now, as an aspirant, we cannot just learn, read it and leave it. We need to trigger our thoughts. We need to understand from the perspective that what exactly it means, which conditions is it valid, which condition it is not valid. If it is not valid, what is the protection, how it is protected. So these thoughts should be always in present. What is the beauty of this democracy? How is this democracy implemented? So equality is the aspect. So like that, in this chapter, they mentioned that the two ways in which government has tried to implement the equality that is guaranteed in the constitution is first through laws and second through government programs or schemes to help disadvantaged communities. So there are several laws to protect every right treated equally, and apart from that, there are several schemes to improve lives and communities and individuals who have been treated unequally for several centuries. So one of these schemes is midday meal scheme. Tamil Nadu was the first state to introduce the scheme, midday meal scheme. And from 2001, all state government has been told to implement this in their schools within 6 months. So now what happens if you think, if you have witnessed this, then great. But midday meal scheme is there that at school meals are available, which means for every school, state government school, meals are available. There should be enrollment of student in school, attendance and education. So what is going to happen with this? The education is the biggest power, and that is what is government trying to do, is to help them to go to school. How will they go to school? Because they are from poor family, they cannot afford a daytime meal. At least ensure a one-time nutrition-driven meal to them, and that is where midday meal scheme came into picture. So there's a whole lot of thing which is mentioned about midday meal scheme. You can read through it. Now I will just want or wish you to take a reading of how this chapter forms out to be. I will just narrate or summarize the chapter before we move forward or scroll through. So going forward, you will realize that the key concept which is mentioned here is equality and democracy. This chapter explores the concept of equality as a core principle of democracy, specifically within the Indian context. It emphasizes that the Indian Constitution guarantees equality to all citizens, irrespective of their social, economic, or cultural backgrounds. Equality as enshrined in the Indian Constitution, the Constitution of India recognizes every individual as equal, which means one, equality before law. Every person, from the President of India to a domestic worker, is subject to the same laws. Number two, prohibition of discrimination. No person can be discriminated against based on religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth, or any other factor. Equal access to public spaces. Every individual has the right to access public places like playground, hotels, markets, and public wells. And fourth, abortion of untouchability. The practice of untouchability is banned. ensuring dignity for all citizens. And then there is example of midday meal, which we just spoke about. So there has been, but the reality today is the ongoing struggle for equality. The law cannot change societal attributes alone. Discrimination based on caste, religion, gender, disability, and economic status still very well exist. Many of us might have faced it in front of us. Real change requires a shift in mindset, which every individual is seen as equal. Continuous struggle. Establishing equality in a democratic society is an ongoing effort. Both individuals and communities contribute to the struggle as seen in various social movements. Now, equality beyond India, if we see, the chapter also mentioned about global struggles for equality. Inequality is not unique to India and it is challenged in many democratic nations. For example, in USA, African Americans, descendants of slaves, had faced a long history of discrimination despite legal reforms. Rosa Parks and the civil rights movement is known across. Rosa Parks' refusal to give up her seat on a bus sparked the civil rights movement in the USA, leading to the Civil Rights Act of 1964. This law aimed to end racial segregation and ensure equal rights for African Americans. Now, challenges of democracy. No country can be described as a fully democratic. The struggle to expand democracy and recognize equality is a continuous process involving individuals, communities, and governments. Now, in Constitution, I know we have not gone through, but if you get time, do turn page and go and read Article 15. And there was a movie also, Article 15. Now, Article 15 of the Indian Constitution explicitly prohibits discrimination based on religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. It ensures equal access to public spaces and facilities for all citizens. Now, while reading the chapter, you will also come across few of the terminologies like universal adult franchise, that right of every adult citizen 18 years or above in India to vote regardless of social or economic status. Dignity, the inherent respect due to every individual. So you also understand the chapter a little bit hints about the universal adult franchise, the voting aspect of it, and it ensures that every adult citizen has an equal say in choosing their government, promoting fairness and equality. So with this, if we scroll through the chapter, you will see uh, the chapter details about Rosa Parks, various challenges in democracy, Article 15, and the terminology. So with this chapter is over. I would now request kindly complete the MCQs and then read the chapters. With this, thank you.